Hello and thanks for tuning in to this video. We're going to check out Link, TNT, AST, and WPR in this video. Let's kill the background music and take a quick look at the disclaimer. You can pause the video to read through this to be sure that you know that this isn't trading advice, just market observation. We're going to jump into the main scene here, and what we're looking at are the top movers on Binance right now: Link, WPR, AST, and TNT. Let's jump in and take a look at Link. Link has been doing some amazing moves, and I wouldn't recommend jumping in on it now. Astonishing how it's come out of this great cup with handle formation and off it went. This is a really important time in cryptocurrencies, and it's time to be looking for all sorts of other markets that are making patterns like this. Now that this one, I would say, has gotten away, let's go see what else we can find. First of all, what else can we find out about when we're looking for other markets? What else can we look to see? We can see this bottom formation that was occurring here in April, May. We hit a bottom again the 13th of May. And it's important to see that this was a low here all the way through the end of April, through the early part of May. It came up and then bounced off of this low on the 13th of May. Many other cryptos had lows, and then they came to brand new lows on the 13th of May. But this one held its own, and the MACD indicator here stayed showing a divergence. And so this is the main pattern we're looking for right here. Coins that have hit a bottom, and then they've consolidated again on the 13th without going to new lows. They've also got some consolidations that turned up, and this crossed over just after the 13th to give us warning that this was going to be taking off. That was a fantastic cup with handle formation. And the last thing I want to look at, just to settle it in our minds, is the Ichimoku cloud. And I was distracted when I see this because it was coming through the top of the cloud, and then as it made this cup with handle formation, it burst through the cloud. This was a difficult one, even with this formation, with the Ichimoku cloud, to catch this move. And on the one-day chart, it wasn't much easier. It was definitely looking like a top and coming down. And this was an immediate turnaround that you had to be ready for and in the know for, really watching this market, so that as this cup with handle formation shaped up, you weren't one of the people who, likely in some of my trades, I might have been one to be dumping right there as it's breaking below these patterns. It's crashing. Everything else looks like it's all breaking at that time. And of course, it turns out to be the very moment that you should have been buying. And how can we tell that from this chart? I don't see that the Ichimoku cloud could tell me that that was a buy moment right there. Let's back up. Is this a buy moment here? Clean all this stuff up. This has the crossover. So this has the buy moment signaled after the cup with handle, and the spike, this would have said, yeah, that spike is valid, pay attention to it. And we could have been in on that trade. Let's continue on to see what else we could see. The negative on balance volume turned positive, and then positive again on this spike. So this could have told us that there is more incoming. And what about the RSI? What could the RSI have told us on this spike as it came down? That it was showing a divergence. On these days, we had a flat bottom, and the RSI was diverging, holding stronger as this came back. So we did have indicators all around telling us what to do on this trade. Now, let's go and find the other markets to see which ones, what they were telling us. Let's take a look at TNT. It's made some fantastic moves today. If I bring this out to the weekly view, we can see we saw some pre-pump patterns and then the blast off. So this did give us some pre-warning that it was going to take off. When I pull the chart back, I can't see any buildup. There's a little RSI divergence, but there's nothing really standing out to tell me that this is going to be blasting off on the 1-hour bars. So we can see here on the 12-hour bars, it's a big, huge move on it's significant volume. It must be news generated. And this is the kind of pump and dump that is really, if you're not in there at the very beginning, then it's really scary to be buying in on these after they've taken off. Again, there wasn't much of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The on-balance volume wasn't really showing us a good trading signal here. Let's continue on. I'm going to take more detailed look at this. Pulling in on the 12-hour bar view, we can see there was a crossover but it wasn't very strong. There was no really strong indicator here that this was just about to blast off. And if we go into the Ichimoku cloud and take a look at this, there was no early indicator here either. It was right inside the cloud, on top of it. Either way, no way to know. And then prices blast off and blast off again. Next, we'll take a look at WPR and see what WPR has been doing. When we zoom in on the 3-day view, just looking at the 15-minute bars, we can see that there is pre-pump activity before the main run up. So if we pull this back to the 1-hour bars, we can see our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up the pre-pump activity. Pull back to the 4-hour bars, and we can see that this is setting up. The exponential moving average crossed over before the pump happened. So we can start to see that our 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, the exponential moving average crossover are all really valid signals, fantastic stuff. And when we take a look at the RSI, this is supporting us with a really nice divergence building up underneath the price before it moves. Let's see what we find under the on-balance volume. We can see that the pre-pump patterns are sustained or verified by this indicator. We can see where they were starting to come in as we're breaking out of this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. When we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, here again we can see the volume coming in and easing back out of the 1, 2, 3. As we're coming to the breakout, we're starting to see the volume picking up. This is a really good signal, and that crossover, it's fantastic. Now that it's pulled back to these levels, remember, we have those two different ways to enter any of these kind of 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakouts. First of all, we could buy on the breakout right here as it breaks out. Second, we could wait for it to come and pull back, retest our levels, and as it's showing strength, we could then buy in. So if we're zooming in on this and zooming in on this again and zooming in on this again, clear up all that clutter, we can see that it is coming back exactly to this 1, 2, 3 bottom for the number 2 point and retesting these levels. So strength from here is an alternate option to enter. And you could have saved yourself from getting in on this excitement and then having it pull back against you, and you're biting your nails now wondering, is it a fake out breakout and going to pull back further? Or is this it? So now don't react to these quick pumps on the 4-hour time frame. Wait for it. It'll tell us. There's lots of time in these. I love to see this example. Now I want to go to the next indicator, 3-day view. So we can see where this crossed as it's pulling back. We're waiting for this to show us positive histogram and another crossover to support that it is indeed bouncing off of this support and resistance level that we just were talking about. As we zoom out a little bit more, I want to see this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and sure enough, we got this crossover, higher, really a nice divergence as we're having this bottom formation set up and the crossover happen of our exponential moving averages. Beautiful trade setup. Really like it, and it was signaled earlier as this bottom formation was starting. So the more of these that we can find that are signaling this earlier, we've got a couple fantastic examples in the charts here today. Let's go to the Ichimoku cloud and see where we're standing here now in the 15-minute bars. I'm going to zoom out and zoom out again. I'm looking for that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And when did it break above the Ichimoku cloud to give us the signal to get in? What's the difference between these? So we can see now the wick and the pullback and giving us a considered place to be entering on this trade. And as we pull in, we can see that it is above the cloud now, which is bullish, and the cloud has twisted or flipped so that it's to a more bullish color now, all supporting that it could be holding steady here above this 1, 2, 3 bottom, and a great place to enter right now. Let's take a look at the coin market cap for that. It is ranked number 380, 1,000 Bitcoin full coin market cap right now. We'll have to see what WePower does over time. Up 20% over the last little bit. 1.5 cents per coin right now. Phenomenal. I love doing these videos. Now, the last one we'll take a look at here today is AST. Let's go jump over to AST. We'll start kind of backwards here and bring this over. AST is number 394, not quite 1,000 Bitcoin in coin market cap, and it's up 30%. It's up 5.2 pennies per. So AST, now we'll scroll all the way back down to the bottom here, and AST. So AST has got a fantastic formation, and this volume supporting it is wonderful. It was one of our alerts that we gave out the other day, so all of our members in our alerts package had this earlier, and they are already up and sitting fantastic. Stop losses above our entry, nothing to do but watch it. And here again is that divergence in the RSI setting up early. Now, what I want to see is, do we have the same indicator setups that we had in the other markets that were so powerful? Because we could take those same indicator setups and use them for anything coming up. So here's AST zoomed in. Look at these pre-pump patterns. It's going to take off far more than this. This is really building up to something. Look at this on balance volume. Really strong alert for this. And I've actually got to share this here, just to get that captured, because that is so astonishing. What a great call, just because it was making the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, exponential moving average crossover. Now let's go to AST, because I want to see, do we get this same thing in AST on the 12-hour time frame where we have that crossover? Are there other markets that have already crossed over but not broken out yet that we could identify? Sure, there's that crossover in that very same time frame. Wonderful. Zoom in on this a little bit too. That's the 4-hour. So in the 4-hour, we're seeing the divergence. It's not as nice as the other market we were looking at, but still phenomenal. Gone with the volume tapping in at the same time. Really great. How about the Ichimoku cloud on AST? Okay, so it's clearly gone through the cloud at the same time this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaped up. There's no question there. The cloud didn't give us any advanced warning though. It's after the fact, where when we saw some of these other indicators, we're seeing that crossover in advance. As the bottom formation is shaping up, before the 1, 2, 3 is confirmed, we've already got some early warning here. And how about on the 12-hour time frame for the not so much early warning here? This comes as it's coming in. The RSI could give us some early warning on the 12-hour time frame. Sure, we had this divergence here. Phenomenal. So that wraps up our 4 coins here for today. We'll pick up another 4 coins. Just be sure to click on subscribe, click on the thumbs up. If you have any coins you'd like us to go over, be sure to put them in the comments down below. Look forward to any of your questions. Cheers and all the best in your cryptocurrency trading.